welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today we're talking about the Atomic Bent 90. This is the 2025 version. It's no different from the 2026 version. So, you know, full disclosure, I went out and bought these skis myself, paid to have them mounted, and spent money out of my own pocket to bring you this review. So if you like independent reviews and you want to support the channel, a really good way of doing that is using our affiliate codes down below. If you do end up buying these skis or any other skis, we have links through Evo, Backcountry, whatever. So if this helps you kind of finalize your decision, please consider doing that, as it doesn't cost you anything extra and helps us stay independent and use those funds to buy these skis to bring you these reviews. Now, I ski these in a 184, which means they have a turn radius of 21 meters. As the name suggests, they have a 90 millimeter width underfoot. As you can see here, a very, very healthy amount of camber. You can see clear through there. Pretty aggressive twin tip tails and fairly moderate and gradual splays on the tips. These come with a bit of an altered version of the Horizon Tech for 2025. Typically with more of the powder skis, you would see a twin tip that kind of boxed around. With the Bent 90s, they'd use kind of the old, more basic version of the Horizon Tech, where it just kind of splays here. With the wider version of the bents, you can expect to see the Horizon Tech kind of boxing off the tips and the sides, but I think this design makes plenty of sense for a 90 millimeter width ski. Typically you can find these for around $550, although right now you can buy them on sale at evo.com for $384.97. I will have links down below. I believe you can also find them at Backcountry. I will have links everywhere that you can find them, but these are very, very aggressively priced at $384.97 and a pretty average price, full retail at $549. The core of these is just a basic poplar wood, though we've seen with Black Crow skis you can do a lot with a really well-designed wood core with no Titanal, which is a lot of what separates these from the Atomic Maverick series. But now that we covered all that, let's talk about what you really care about. How did these actually feel on snow? And I have a lot to say about these. Now, my first impression with the Bent 90 was, honestly, I actually really like these. I don't think they deserve half the hate they get on the internet. I also think that when they go on sale, this is a tremendous value. It's a good budget buy. I think that if there are things you really care about, one of them being dampness, then obviously they're better skis to look at. I also had a lot to say about the mounting point. True mounting point, these were like a 7.2. On one click back, I think they're a 9 out of 10, so spoilers, I guess, for the score at the end. I found that with these skis, they were drastically improved by bringing the binding back one click or half a centimeter. So I think that these are very easy to demo. If you're looking at buying these and you're not going to put a demo binding on them, I don't know, go pay 50 bucks and demo them and find the mounting point that works for you, because I found in this specific case, it made a big, big difference. Now, I don't think these are for everybody. I think if you need a damp ski, like I said, you're gonna wanna go with something else. If you want something that's purely for carving and you don't really care about off-trail performance, the Maverick is probably the direction I would steer you instead of these. But all in all, like, the value and performance on these was surprisingly good. But now that we talked about first impressions, let's talk about the specifics. What did I like in particular and what did I dislike? What were the drawbacks of the ski? Every ski has drawbacks and this ski is no exception. So the good, these are a decent platform to stand on. I feel like the poplar wood is really gradual, really relaxed. It makes for a smooth carved turn if you get it in the right spot. Like I said, these are much better one click back in my opinion. The skis are lightweight, they're easy to initiate the turn. I think that they have a pretty good range with the Horizon Tech on where you can go on the mountain or how much snowfall there is. I think if I had a friend who was looking for like a really good budget ski for Bogus Basin and they're not hard charging carvers, this does provide a lot of value for what the cost actually is. It's got a nice shape, it's lightweight, it feels easy to kind of hop around in the woods on. It's got a good turn shape. Like, I like the radius that they chose for kind of those open massage turns, especially with the mounting point that I had it at. Timing the turn pressure of these feels really smooth and gradual. It does really well in soft snow. Because they're so lightweight, you can kind of feel the smooth effects of getting first tracks on a light amount of powder. The little bit of leftover powder that I found, it was phenomenal for that, especially like given that this isn't a super wide ski, this is kind of a daily driver 90 millimeter width ski. I found that the Horizon Tech worked phenomenally for the width. I just think everything's well implemented here. They didn't make the Horizon Tech match exactly like the Bent 100, Bent 110, Bent 120, and I think that that was really smart in that just giving you a little bit of Horizon Tech on the sides so the ski doesn't get overwhelmed easily. I think for a lot of people who kind of wash out their turns, or who are light on their feet, or who want to go off trail, this ski, like I said, provides a ton of value, a ton of range, and a lot of fun for most skiers. I think the price is great. I mean, especially when it's on sale, $384 for a good pair of skis, especially where I'm at in Boise, Idaho. There are a lot of people who would get a ton of mileage on these and really have a lot of fun for what they're paying. All right, but now that we talked about everything I like about these skis, let's talk about some of the drawbacks. Let's talk about the cons. The first one is at factory recommended. It's hard to squeeze energy out of these, but like I said, that's fixed at one click back. It does, like the Bent 100s, no surprise here, it does get pinged around on firm snow. Now, if you're off trail, that's fun, right? You're going in the powder, but as soon as you find that firm bit of ground underneath the soft snow, that's when you start to get kind of bounced and thrown around. Not a big deal. I don't think most people are buying a Bent expecting it to like really charge through boilerplate snow, but it's like one of the first things you notice, and definitely a drawback for this kind of ski. And so if you care about that, if you want to like have a damp ski, go with something else. It doesn't give you a ton of energy back out of the turn. It doesn't feel like a super powerful platform. You have to kind of work hard to squeeze your energy in and out of this. But that being said, if you can kind of massage it, it is a decent platform and it is smooth turning. It's kind of like, you know, I think I talked about this with one of the Meyer skis, where it's like kind of like a longboard, bamboo, feels like kind of like a cruisy longboard type of thing. This is the same thing. When you get in those long open radius turns, it feels kind of smooth and you can eke the energy out of it. If you're kind of patient with your turns and kind of do gradual open radius turns, that's when you can kind of get the energy in and out of the turns. But if you're not patient, this isn't like a springy, snappy, you know, DPS kind of ski. This takes a lot of patience and is very cruisy, but when you get in those turns, it does feel very rewarding. The biggest question I have is, who are these for? You know what I mean? I feel like the Maverick serves the population so well and so much better just in value, power, dampness, carving, energy threshold. But again, at -1, these make more sense if you don't want to be that precise with your turns, if you don't want to kind of have to pin every single turn. Or if you want something that is more versatile, can go off trail easier, is a little bit lighter, a little bit more forgiving, these make a lot of sense. And I think when you look at like the value when these go on sale, there is a ton of value to be had here. And that probably carries the score quite a bit. So what would I give these for a score? I mean, I already told you, they're 7.2 if they're done at factory recommended, as far as mounting point goes, and a 9 at -1. That being said, I do think like for freestyle skiers, that may be totally different. So take that for what it's worth. As far as who these are for, I think if you're somebody who is just looking for like a first pair of skis, you're not super aggressive with your carving, you want to go off trail, you want to have some smooth carving, like a decent platform, I think these make a ton of sense. You're getting a ton of bang for your buck as far as where you can go on the mountain. You'll definitely want to leave these behind on your firmer days, or maybe you're one of those skiers who just kind of washes out your turns when it gets really firm. That's fine. But just know what these are for. These are a lightweight, diverse off-trail ski that is decent at carving open radius turns, but is not going to be there when you just want to like kind of hammer those turns and get energy out of it. It's not a very powerful ski, but it is at least a stable and fun platform. So they become a little bit difficult to score, but I think when you take into account that they're on sale, a sub $400 ski, when you take into account that the Horizon Tech is really working overtime in the off-trail setting, when you think about how lightweight they are, when you consider the fact that they are still giving you at least a half-decent carving platform, I think that there is just a ton of value when you look at the price. In a vacuum, it'd probably be a little bit different, but when you consider all the options it's giving you, and for the right person, if this ski lines up for you, I just think that there's a lot to love and a lot of ski you're getting for the money. The carve progression is smooth, the washed out turns are super forgiving, even in warmer snow. They have parts of the turn that honestly remind me still of the Vantage. And to me, it seems like a unique design blended with the lessons kind of learned by Atomic over the years in a value package. There's a lot of range, a lot of value, and just a lot of ski to love here. So for me, this is a 9 out of 10. Again, a lot of that is being carried by the value, but make sure it's the right ski for you. If you're looking for a hard charging or damp ski, this isn't gonna do that. But for everything else, this gives you a lot of ski for what you're paying. So like I said, 9 out of 10. I will have links down below if you'd like to purchase this ski or any other ski out there. Like I said, that's what helps keep us independent here at Rickety Ski Reviews and allows you guys to support the channel if you're buying skis anyway without spending any extra money. Obviously, don't buy anything if you don't need it. You know, thinking about where the ski sits, this is like a pretty good alternative to the QST 92. Like the QST 92, I've always said, bang for your buck is one of the better skis out there, but I think this is a pretty close competitor. I would go QST 92 if you need something a little bit more damp. I think the cork dampeners work a little bit more effectively, but if I was looking for range and soft snow skiing, I honestly think that this would be my preferred choice for like a really budget build as far as the ski setup goes. So anyway, those are my honest opinions about the Atomic Bet 90. As always, if you want to support the channel, we have channel memberships down below. I'll also have Ko-Fi and Venmo links if you want to make donations. Not necessary. As always, more than anything, just thanks for taking time out of your day to watch my videos. It means a ton to me. I'm not sure what's going on with Atomic, but I didn't want to wait around for them to send me the ski to give you guys my honest opinion, especially when this is a ski that is constantly going on sale and could provide a lot of value to you guys out there. Also, with me buying my own skis, let me know what you'd like to see down in the comments. I can't promise that I'll buy every ski out there, but when I see one ski a lot, I will try to prioritize that as I'm going into buying skis for the next fall. But of course, as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.